Well, welcome back. Been a little while, so I had a couple of questions on why we kind of hadn't been filming any videos lately. So some of you may or may not remember that there was a house here at one point. So we had some damage for Hurricane Francine, and that snowballed into us having to demo our house. So been busy with that project for some months now. Had this customer that's been patiently waiting to get a sub installed in this Jeep. We've done some work in this Jeep, put sound bar and things in it. They got this DS came out with this 210 sub enclosure. It kind of hits both sides, so thankfully to them, they've been real patient and kind of waiting for us to get situated so we can get this installed for them. We're kind of at a point, we finally got our permits and all that. That's been the hold up, permits and planning and all kind of other stuff. But we got lumber now, so kind of at the point to where this project will be kicking off, so I kind of got some free time. So we're gonna get into this. This is something newer. I hadn't done one of these before. I've kind of seen them, and we kind of tracked it when it was coming out. It had been out, waiting for it to come out for a while, and it's been out for a while now. I mean, like I said, they've had it for probably 6 months or more now. So we're gonna have some fun with this one. Gotta tear out the factory sub. There's a factory sub in here, replace it. They were able to get some of the panels and stuff from the dealer that they needed, and then we'll get this installed. Looks like it's some sub enclosures, 2 tins, an amp. I gotta figure out, we've already got one amp underneath one seat, one amp underneath the other seat, so it's gonna be a fun time to figure out where we're gonna put both of these at. So that's kind of where we're at. We'll get kicked off from here. Well, so we pulled this out. It's pretty straightforward. Undo the bolts here, unclip it up around the seat belt, and then this whole factory sub pulls out. Got some clips. They're a little bit of a pain. Fortunately, this one had been off before. He put a new tailgate hinges and stuff, so it came out pretty easy. Trying to source out these DS pods. There's no instructions at all. There's nothing that comes in a box. Can't find anything on their website. It's one thing. I mean, DS makes some good marine grade speakers, but their instructions are always interesting. Currently trying to figure out how this bracket's going to work with this for the factory soft top closed piece here. I'm not trying to figure out how we're going to get around this. I'm hoping you don't have to drill through that, but it looks like that mount goes right there, so working on that. The customer went ahead and he had bought the new carpet here, bought the new closure panel here, and bought this panel to replace his factory sub, because this kit really is set up for no sub. So he bought these factory panels, so we're putting those back in as well, and then we will continue on. All right, a little bit of a fast forward here. So after spending a few hours trying to figure out these DS18 pods, there's no instructions, there's nothing I can find online. Can't find any real images of ones that are done. This is a soft top. I have no idea if this is designed to work with a soft top. Even if it was a hard top, this bracket, this speaker, and this location has got to go. I don't know. I don't understand what they were doing here. This thing looks like it's just not molded perfect to fit the shape. I mean, it's for a JL, all that, but it binds up in the seat, it binds up in the bracket. This soft top bracket piece is in the way, so we're gonna do some custom modifications here. What I did, I drilled a hole in this bracket so I can get this bracket in it, I can bolt this down and it'll fit these holes. The only issue is that this doesn't sit as tucked in, because it's like the bracket would need to be angled for this to sit tucked in, and it's not. So it is what it is. We'll make it work as it is. Ooh, sorry, I had a customer interrupt me. Back to this. Yeah, this I don't understand. I'm not sure why it fits like it does, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna, like I said, we drilled this hole out so we can get this in. We'll mount this on, get this all the way up, and then we'll get it in there, and then we'll kind of see how it fits. I also don't like that that bracket's the only thing that holds it. So you know, like the SSV kits, they have a bracket, or the stuff boxes, they have brackets down on the bottom. So this, I mean, this is it. This is gonna be the only thing holding it at the top. So we'll see. We'll try to get it to fit and go from there. We're gonna do a little custom work here. Even, like I said, even the bracket on the actual speaker doesn't fit flat. It's almost like this thing is not, you know, molded right, or it's warped in the molding or something. So I don't know. It's not something I'm real, and I know it's a aftermarket molding and etc, but you know, I would have thought that this would have been, you know, molded a little bit nicer, since I think these things are pretty pricey. I want to say they're $600 or $700 for the set. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get it to fit in and how that works out, and go from there. After some fighting, some customization, some pains, these things are in. So they are very difficult to get in. And like I said, the only option you've got is to really drill an extra hole there. This is going to be here. This will have somewhat of a gap here with that foam, but once it's bolted down here up at the top, it can't go anywhere. And then the track for the window sits under here. It's actually going to be covered by the window. But man, there's no need for that to be what it is. I think I like DS stuff overall, but they need to go back. Somebody needs to go back to the drawing board for a JL with a soft top and figure out, or give some instructions or something. I mean, this looks pretty nice. It's relatively flush both ways, so you know, that part of it is nice, but it does not need to be that difficult for these brackets to go in. So all right, well, we got that in. Now fun part's going to be, we kind of have to change everything around that we've done prior. I really already started that process. Started pulling out that controller because I needed to get more RCAs, because they're adding another amp. So now there's going to be 3 amps. There's a 4-channel amp there on that side, which runs the panel speakers and these tweeters here. Then there's a 5-channel amp here, which runs the bar. We've got, you know, tweeters and a couple of woofers up there. And then the third amp's going to have to go under this seat. I'm going to have to make a bracket so it mounts at an angle this way, because the seat still needs to be able to fold, and that'll feed the 2 10s in the back. So yeah, so we'll start working on that side of it and see where we get. Alright, so just kind of a quick update where we're at. We're getting the wires pulled for the amplifier that's going to be under this seat. Power wires pulled. Wiring up these pods. They don't have RGB speakers currently for this, so I'm just going to double back the RGB, and then, you know, at some point if they ever get an RGB sub, we can always wire it in. This is all going to run underneath that seat. I got this amplifier back in and tidied up, so it's, I had to move this amp around. I had to redo the RCAs. I had to switch over to a 6-channel line out converter, because we only had a 4-channel and I didn't want to split another channel again. I'm already splitting each channel coming in to these amps, because these are both 4-channel amps. I didn't want to split again, because for whatever reason the Candy 4-channel amps don't have a 2 to 4 selector switch, so you have to split the RCAs, or whatever. So this is back in, got all this wiring tucked back in. So this is the wire we ran. Like I said, we tuck it in. It's braided cabling all the way, you know, it runs that way. I'll come back over here. Really didn't have to do too much with this amp. It was really just getting it set back up. This was already here. Again, we have to have the RCA split, because for some reason these Candy amps don't have a 2-4 selector switch, which I think is kind of odd, but you know, it is what it is. So this was already all ran. The only thing we did was the tweeters in the front, they were changed, but they were running off the factory amplifier. And we did that because of the chime. I didn't want to have the chime crazy loud. Well, this new output converter, I have the ability to turn down the chime volume. So I went ahead and I ran the tweeters over onto this 4-channel amp, which is what it was set for originally. We just didn't do it. So I ran those in there. So now you have the fronts and the tweeters off of an amp. They're not lacking highs. I mean, there's 4 horns in here, plus 4 3-way 8s. The highs are insane in here. I mean, it's very, very loud. So those tweeters in the front are kind of a mute point at this point. But since we were in here again, I went ahead and did that. So last thing we got to do, like I said, is just tie this amp in under here, and then we'll get these subs mounted. I don't have the subs in the boxes yet, so we'll get the subs in the boxes and then tune it up and see what it sounds like. I don't like this way that box sits, but that's where it's at. All right, let me get that amp installed, and then I will we'll go from there. All right, got the subs mounted. These are the subs that they had got with their kit. These are the DS18 Gen X, I think they are, some 10s. Not some bad subs, sound pretty good. That amp that they got definitely has enough power to push those 10s in a sealed enclosure with a small volume. It's gonna be real hard to see. Sorry, I don't have a light. Amp is under there. Waiting on the client to come get it, so I'm not gonna break out a lighting tool and all again. But that's it. Got it installed. Like I said, I wish these brackets for this system were a little bit nicer. But sounds good. This is still, in my opinion, way too loud. Honestly, if it were me, I'd run these tweeters, these horns, probably 6 dB down, just to kind of get some sanity in here. But it's not mine, so that's it. Got it all back together, everything back together here. So we'll catch you on the next one.